Hey, I don't know if you're there or not, but I'm just setting this up real quick. Okay. Hey guys, hey, you're already here. You guys are fast, way faster than I am. Okay, almost done here. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I need to do, guys. Hey, Sergeant, good to see you. Glad you're here. Luke, Bo, Chris, Lisa, XRP Lifestyles. Thank you for coming in, you guys. I need to set up something here real quick, if you'll bear with me. Let's see. I'm not sure. Okay. All right. I think I got it now. Okay. So how's everybody doing tonight? There's been a lot of chatter on Twitter and other things about VET, and I've been seriously thinking about getting into some VET, and I thought we could talk about that a little bit. XRP a little bit, and anything else you guys wanted to talk about. So I'm going to be trying to get the chat over here bigger where I could see it, and then try to talk to you guys here. But anyway, I appreciate all of you guys coming in, and wanted to talk about VET a little bit. I kind of believe in the use case, the idea that they can track a product from manufacturing, through the life of it, actually. And I think that has a lot of promise for these large corporations, and especially those that are creating expensive products. Obviously, the automotive industry, tracking their original parts to make sure they are original. Hey, Edward, thanks for coming in. So I think that's a real strong use case, and with it right now being, as inexpensive as it is, I put a tweet out earlier today that, if you had $6,450 or something like that, you get 24,000 VET, or excuse me, 24,000 and change XRP, or 1 million VET. Which would you get? And people still say they would get the 24,000 XRP. Hey, Jeff, glad you're here. So I've been kind of interested in what people think, because if you have a pretty good basket or a bag of XRP, man, I think VET's a good one. I mean, at the price. I mean, if you could even imagine staying with VET to go from the price that it is now to even the price XRP is now, to 30 cents, that's a heck of a return. And especially, if you could afford, hey, Ducky McScrooge, glad you're here, buddy. John, he's invested in both. XRP lighting the way. Hey, thanks for coming in. What's a good bag of XRP, Sergeant? I had a goal of 20,000 XRP. I think that would be awesome if people can get there, and obviously you can go to the moon with it. But man, there's something about having that million. If you do the math, if VET really started doing, we know that they're tied in with Walmart, and they start making and they've got a big deal with NDA signed with the car industry and if the automobile industry, and if they really start putting things together and that thing starts jumping, if you had 1 million vet, every penny is $10,000. That's pretty tempting. That's pretty attractive on a $6,000 investment. Now you can cut it in half. Okay, $3,000. $3,000. Well, shoot, that's $500,000 vet, and every penny's $5,000. Could you imagine if that thing started clicking along and jumping? Man, that would be amazing. XRP Sherman, I only hold XRP and vet. I'm with you. I've had ADA, I've had HOT. I would hold both of them again, but I've really wanted to keep everything into XRP for right now. But let's face it, XRP is just kind of, we're waiting for the announcement. I mean, that's what I'm convinced. It's an announcement. So we're just kind of waiting. But I did have a Bitcoin, and I put that into XRP. But I'm seriously thinking of, maybe it would make more sense to put some of that in vet. Are you considering a whale if you are? Are you considered a whale if you have 20,000 XRP? I mean, I think you would be very, very happy with that. I don't know if you're necessarily hit whale category, Dave, but I think you'd do very well for your family. Let's see. I don't trust China. Coins XRP USA all the way. That is kind of one of the things, for a while there was some rumblings in the community about, China controls 50+% of the Bitcoin mining, and Ethereum is Russia, and XRP is US's answer to China and Russia. Who knows? It still may be very, very true. Where do you store your vet? Well, I use a Nano for my XRP. I haven't bought any vet yet. I don't know if the Nano S supports vet or not. Do any of you guys know? But Papa Bear, oh baby bear. Anyway, he holds both. Good for you. Jeff, I heard 80%. Jeff, are you talking about China controlling 80% of the mining? Probably. George, thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. Glad you're here. So you're saying exchange XRP for vet? No, I'm not. No, I'm not saying. No, I wouldn't. I don't think I would exchange your XRP for vet. But I'm just saying that the price that it is right now, $300 or $400 can still get you a pretty good sized bag, probably the equivalent of your XRP, and it'd probably be worth getting. It's just been, I have looked into it before. I understand what they're trying to do with it, but it's starting to gain some momentum. What you could have bought for $400 2 weeks ago is now $600. So, I mean, it's creeping up. And it's just, I think, something you can consider. Throwing $50, $100 at some vet, if you can. Let's see, Edward, fill your bags and huddle and repeat process. Fill bag and repeat. I like that. Vet's higher risk, higher reward. Very true. Very, very true. But that's why, I kind of like the idea that, man, if I threw, you throw $500 or not financial advice, of course, but, you throw $500 at it, $1,000, $1,500. Man, I'm trying to remember who it was that was saying it earlier. But they made the statement that, same kind of thing that monetarily just said, that you high risk, high reward. But okay, so if it goes to nothing, I lost $1,500. But if it goes the other way, man, that's a heck of a payday when you're buying something way under a penny or for half a cent. So Yeah, George, I was wondering the same thing. I don't know if a Nano S holds VET yet. Anybody in the chat room know? I just don't know that for sure. XRP, BTC, and BAT. BAT, I haven't. I think I had some BAT at one time, but that might have been in my day trading days. You guys are probably way down. I'm probably way behind on this chat. Let's see. VET is an easy way to turn 500 into 100K when VET hits $1. See, I agree with that. I think they have a really strong use case, just like Ripple is going for payments, where they're going for product tracking, and through all these, all the counterfeiting of products that's going on. I see people latching onto that. I see corporations latching onto that as, okay, that's something that we could use blockchain for, to validate that this is an original product. You think about trying to go buy thank you, George. George says a Nano Ledger does support VET. Yeah, okay. But if you think about going and buying an original Toyota starter, I mean, it's $1,000. So to have them track that it's original, not a fabric or counterfeit starter, I could see that being a big business. And I see Ripple and VeChain and these companies starting to emerge with their use cases that you can just see. They're going to be the eBay and the Google and the Amazon, and those are the ones you want to watch for. And we've heard Brad say it forever. It's all about utility, and those that have utility and use case are going to win the day. Who let the bulls out? Thank you. That's nice of you to say. Thank you very much. They have many partnerships already. TJ's just said that VET has many partnerships already. I've just really started doing my homework about VET today. After watching CKJ's show and reading on Twitter and all the hype and seeing, of course, I'm always clicking on the 24-hour, gains on Binance to see what's moving, and their VET is moving. So it's kind of hard not to pay attention to something that's moving when your favorite is sitting stagnant or going the other way. So yeah, didn't swell very much, did it? Let's see. BitTrue pairs with XRP and VET. I don't have anything on BitTrue now. I've moved everything to Binance US. Now that Binance has always been my favorite exchange, just from ease of use. Coinbase frustrates me to tears. I lost a lot of money in the BTR launch, so I'm really not a fan of BTR. I'm not going to lie. I mean, of BitTrue. Not to mention, it seemed like every time something would start to pump, they'd lock you out and say, we can't withdraw. We can't. Anyway, VET has its own niche. Exactly, Papa Bear. And it's a good niche. It's a good niche. You think about all these counterfeit sneakers and counterfeit watches and handbags and automotive parts. It's a good deal. I remember that, Terrence, that they did do a deal with Walmart in China. And when I heard that, I thought, okay, but would they be? I think I was a little hesitant because I thought, but they still don't have regulatory clarity in the U.S. yet. So I kind of backed off really looking at it until recently, and then now, of course, Binance US put VET on the other day, and so it's really bringing it to the forefront. Yes, XRP Sherman. That's where I've been looking at purchasing it. Was on Binance US, and they're pairing. I don't. Cheesy says, I don't think U.S. will invest in any Chinese tech. I don't believe that's true at all. Actually, there's going to be a. I've mentioned it in several of my videos that I believe some of this trade war thing can be, trumped up and almost deliberate to usher in this new digital economy that you've heard Trump go to Japan about and talk about the, hey, we did great things for the farmer. Oh, by the way, we're here to sign a digital, work on our digital economy. And then he said the same thing with China, digital trade agreement there. Great for the farmers, but really good for the finance industry. So I think Grandma's here. Hi, Grandma, and you're on Coinbase? I am on Coinbase too. It's just not my favorite one. Anyway, but I do think that the U.S. will, I think they will actually like the fact that they can track these products. Imagine at the shipping yards in California and these major ports around the U.S., as products come in, if they can verify them, that they are in fact genuine products and not counterfeit, boy, that would save U.S. Customs a lot of work. If they can scan the whole container or however they're going to do it and find out that it's all original containers. Over 1,000 partnerships in the pipeline with VET. Papa Bear, we know that for sure. I like the sound of that a lot, buddy. General Carl, how are you? Appreciate you being here. Will XRP ever be pegged to gold? I've gone back and forth on that, as you know, or you may not know, but I have gone back and forth with that because I really believe that each of these major countries around the world, when this economy implodes, and it really is you're seeing all kinds of dialogue from these central bankers that are in big trouble, and big banks are in trouble and going to the repo window. If you're not sure what the repo window is, that's where the Federal Reserve, which is the U.S.'s central bank, that's where just want to clear that so it doesn't go off again. That's where our banks, when they don't have enough money to make it through the night and pay all their bills, they get to go to the Fed, and the Fed, writes them a check or digitally sends them, here's another, $10 million so you can meet your obligations. How cool would it be for us if, when we're low at our bank, we could just get a loan for the night and we'll pay you back tomorrow on payday, instead of bouncing every check and charging me $35 every time. It's one of the things that just makes me madder than heck about banks, that they always, or any financial institution, lending, loans, whatever, that they always want to charge the people that have the least the most. Makes me really, really mad. Anyway, but there's a lot of chatter about these central bankers and everybody being in trouble. And I hate the idea of a financial crash. But I believe that there's two possibilities. That they're really working to avoid one and trying to roll the system out to replace it. But there's also another big conspiracy, if you will, running around on YouTube and Twitter in the U.S., and that is that Donald Trump wants to return the country to the American people. If you're not in the U.S. and you don't realize this, the United States was actually incorporated after the Revolutionary War, and we went along for 100 years or so. We just ran on our Constitution that our founding fathers gave us, and in that we had inalienable rights, and it's great to be an American. But they actually created Washington, D.C., which was not that big. I think it's literally like 60 square miles or even less. And basically said that in that area, in Washington, D.C., they really don't have to abide by the Constitution or the United States, and they incorporated the United States. And there literally is a United States Inc. It's a company, and all of these laws and regulations and things that we have to abide by here are really, that's why each city and town has to be incorporated. You see small towns all the time getting incorporated because they're dealing with another company. That other company is the U.S. government. It's no longer just the sovereign country of the United States of America. They created a United States corporation to skirt the U.S. Constitution. And I don't think a lot of people know that or realize that. And so there's a lot of people that think Donald Trump is trying to restore America to the people and get rid of the central bankers that have hijacked the country, and return it to the republic that it was. And a republic different than a democracy. A democracy is just majority rules. Well, the problem with majority rules is that majority can rule in the wrong way and make rash decisions through mob rule and all kinds of things. So you don't really want majority rules. What you want is a republic, much like Rome was, where you have a democracy, but the people choose representatives, and then those representatives go and represent the people, and that's the republic that the U.S. is. And so anyway, the way that ties into our conversation here is that if Donald Trump is actually working to restore, there's a lot of people that talk about XRP saving the central bankers. But it may be that Donald Trump, maybe he could go either way on it. I don't know. But there's a lot of people that talk about he wants to collapse the bankers. He wants to let them dig a hole until they just collapse, and that he wants to set up a separate U.S. Treasury outside of that. And if that's true, I could very well see that being a U.S. Treasury or a U.S. stable coin where the U.S. has its own walled garden, but I believe he would back that by gold. And then if he used that currency to back it by gold, and I believe that's important because they would want to sell the American people on the idea that this new digital currency isn't Warren Buffett's magic internet money. This is different. This is backed by gold, and our politicians should have never taken us off the gold. And I'm Donald Trump, and I put you back on the gold. And then I think they would use the gold backing to instill the confidence in this new currency for people. So that's where I think, just like China's doing their own walled garden currency backed by gold, they're doing that to further diminish the U.S. dollar. Because Russia, China, Iran, India, other countries can band together. And if they start using China's digital-backed currency instead of U.S. dollar, our petrodollar that we went on after we used the gold, after we left the gold standard, then that's a real threat to the U.S. dollar unless Trump circumvents that with something else. Now, having said all of that, I think there's still a possibility. Somebody said it early in the chat, and I don't remember who, because now I'm rambling on, but somebody said it early in the chat that, XRP is U.S. all the way. You may remember that video. I just used it in part of one of my videos where the IMF attorney kept saying, for us to use a digital currency, some other country would have to use it first for it to meet their legal framework. We don't know, but there could be a deal where the U.S. has worked a deal with XRP and Ripple to create a walled garden using XRP backed by gold. And then the IMF can have the balance of the escrow fund. And then the IMF, they can use it to, like Digital Asset Investor did, where he showed all the different countries of the world getting a certain portion of the escrow account to pay off world debts. Obviously, it would mean that, like in Digital Assets Investor's video, his example was changing the price of XRP to $5,000 a coin. And then you give 1 billion coins to China, you give 1 billion coins to Russia, and all of a sudden that billion to each of those countries is worth $5 trillion. And now they could care less about the $1.2 trillion that the U.S. owes both China and Japan, because they got 3.8 trillion in the deal. And that way everybody washes their debts, and you have a formula where all the different countries in the world with the debts, there's a calculated model, if you will, and you plug in everybody's debt to everybody and how much XRP they should all get, so that everybody ends up with more XRP of greater value than the debt they originally had. And then that way you wipe out the world debt. So they do something like that, tie XRP to gold, it becomes a U.S. walled garden coin, and they give it to the IMF, and the IMF runs model simulators to see how much everybody has to have, and everybody does that is basically the global currency reset that you hear so much talk about. So how's that for rambling on? Sorry guys, let's see, I've missed so much here. Gold, a physical asset, will back first, then crypto booms. You know, seriously, how much confidence would people have in a gold-backed digital currency? That would be way better than the fiat US dollar that's worth nothing. Since 1913, the dollar has gone to the equivalent of 4 cents. You take what you get today for $1, what you got for 4 cents in 1913. It's pathetic what they have done. Danny Loft, if you're here, thanks for stopping by, buddy. I see, oh, you are here. Perez, thanks for coming in, buddy. Dave Harris, thank you. Stopping by. Grandma, you're so sweet. She just gave me a $5 super chat. Thank you very, very much. That's really super nice. Dan, what do you mean by bingo? Did we say something that you think makes sense? God has got this. We are on the winning team. Grandma, I so believe that. I was talking with my wife last night. Everybody's on a different end of the political spectrum, but I tell you, from where I sit, I don't even know. I really believe God has a hand in where the world is right now, because we're in some serious trouble. Have you guys seen the crazy kind of violence and things that are in the world and on Twitter? And it's absolutely crazy. Thank you, Barbara. It's nice of you to say. Danny says smash those likes. I've never said that before, but please smash those likes. Why not? I'm not sure what that does for me, but smash those likes. I'm just glad you're here and we can talk about it. Alex Yeats, thanks for coming in, buddy. All in XRP. Well, as I sit here right now, so am I, buddy. I'm thinking about some vet, though. I might swap a little out. Danny, yes, are definitely on the winning team with God. First of all, couldn't agree more. Okay, let's see. Inflation values on products has been generated up to 1 to 5. That's the truth. I'm not completely sure what you mean. Inflation value on products has been generated by the top. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, the top 1 to 5%. That's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're controlling everything. The top 1 to 5% is controlling everything. I mean, here in the U.S., really, it's a staggering number when you think that over 50% of the tax the IRS collect is from the 1%. But if that's the case, they have an unbelievable amount of money. Who in the world could have that much money and not be worried to death, assuming they're religious at all, that they might have to, have a little interview with the Savior, and he say, hey, by the way, just thought of it, all that, you remember that money I blessed you with? Yeah, what'd you do with that? What'd you do? Did you help any of my other kids, or why don't you give me a report on that? We know we've been counseled. Don't put your dang talents under a bush, So I wouldn't want to have billions of dollars and know that I didn't do something to try to help other people that do not have the fortune that you have. So I hope everybody in here also plans on a little philanthropy later in their life. And I just missed a $2 Danny super chat. Danny, did I miss that somewhere? Oh, because my chat's way behind, I think. Danny says Epstein didn't kill himself. There it is. Epstein didn't kill himself. Go XRP, baby. Oh, baby bear. Danny, you're funny. Okay, time for work. Left a like on my way out. Thanks. Crypto Cat, thank you very much if you're still there. Let's see. Exactly, brother. I am British and American. Oh, cool. Dual citizenship. And I am ashamed of the state of the poor in both countries. Isn't that true? I mean, you guys, anybody, I'm sure there's some people that live in California. Man, I mean, I'm old enough. I mean, California was where you wanted to go every summer, one way or another, whether you're going to Magic Mountain or Disneyland or the beach or whatever. And we went over there this summer as a family, and it's just really, really sad to see all the homeless tents and everything else. And I don't know how a governor, mayor, or something, I mean, don't you just find some abandoned building that the city can rent and you can throw up some bunks? I mean, how hard could that be to give these people a place to go, at least till you can work them back and get them back on their feet? I don't understand. There's got to be plenty of money for California to do that. Let's see. People are talking about Epstein. Danny's right. Well, my personal opinion is he didn't kill himself either, so I'm not. XRP Viking, thanks, buddy, for coming in the room. I guess it's a room. I haven't seen you in the chat much lately. I don't know. You must be busy, buddy. So let's see. What else I missed up here? I have to put it over here to make to blow the text up so I can see the darn stuff. Invest, not just for yourself. Grandma, so true. So absolutely true. The only good part about having money is helping other people. That's the only good part. I've had money, I've lost money, I've had money, I've lost money, and I've had money. But every time I've had it, the thing that brought me the most joy is when I could go help another family that really needed something, big or small. That it was just awesome that you could do it, because I feel like everything we have, the Lord has just loaned us. Somebody comes to my front door, come on in here, come on in the house, the Lord loaned us. So we're blessed, and we need to share that good fortune when it comes with others. The entire reason I invest is to help others sincerely. Bill Wilson, you're one of my new favorite people. Oh, speaking of new favorite people, I've got to do something if you'll... hey, King Blue. Hey, buddy. I did not see you there at first. Let's see. I got to do a couple things here real quick, guys. Bear with me. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves. Let's see. Oops. Bear with me. I've been meaning to do this for a while. Grandma, I'm making you a moderator. Would you be a moderator on my channel? Let's see. There you are. Okay. I don't know, all these people that troll these websites that, I put out a video earlier today. Sorry, I'm rubbing my eyeballs here. I put out a video earlier today that all I did was talk about a concept between the difference between an entrepreneur and a technician, and as far as running a business goes. I mean, I don't know how anything of that could have been controversial. And you still see people hitting the dislike button. I'm like, what is there not to dislike about that? I don't understand why people hate the way they do. Okay, so let's see. King Blue, thank you very much. He just did a super chat, a $10 super chat and support, and says, "Good man, good heart." Thank you very much. Very kind of you. I'm not too proud to admit it. I'll sit here and cry if I talk about people. I mean, people are amazing. One of the things I think we all could do better at is really trying to immediately see the worth of souls when you run into somebody new. We are all so riddled with insecurities and problems. For us to pick on somebody else's insecurities or point them out or make fun of them is just crazy, because we all have them. And in fact, some of the best looking people are the most narcissistic, which is just insecurity manifesting. So anyway, let's care about one another. That's what I say. King Blue, thank you very much. Very, very kind of you. Danny put I can see it in this chat, put some kind of big long message out there. Hey, that Vidman, he is a real trouble, not for whistleblowing, but he told Ukraine to ignore Trump. Oh, I know what you're talking about. He is acting military. That is textbook treason under, some of the going against the U.S. Danny, you're right. I mean, there are some real strong cases for treason that I wouldn't want to be those people. I'm pretty sure treason is still a hanging offense, literally. Scary times for those people. Let's see. Okay, Venture, what am I worth? What does that mean? What are you worth? Danny Loth wants to know what he's worth. Brother, you have great worth. You have great worth. Your humor, your personality, you have great worth, my friend, and we're glad you're here. We're glad you're all over the place. We're glad everybody is. I don't know if everybody, I think about it a lot. I don't know if you guys think about it, but I want to meet every one of you. I can't wait to have reunions where, oh yeah, I remember our 10-year reunion since Moon. I think that'd be awesome to do. Because one, we can afford it. We need to plan on a moon cruise. We need to just rent the whole dang ship and get everybody in the XRP community to go on the moon cruise, and then I want to do the venture out west in Las Vegas when we hit $10. And I want to set up all kinds of events. We all need to go, do the, I know you're joking, Danny. I want to go do the skydiving simulator thing and bungee jump and go to all kinds of shows and just have a lot of fun. So you can have all kinds of fun. And okay, hang on one second here. Okay, I just had to remove somebody. I don't know if that's completely removed. We'll see if that does it. I'm not going to have any kind of drama here when we visit, guys. I mean, I think talking about it just brings up more of it. So anyway, I did that. I'll tell you what, this kind of was interesting. I almost retweeted it today, but it's kind of interesting. I put out a tweet where I said, we all have a responsibility to Ripple and to the digital asset XRP to, to get along. And I, for one, stick my hand of friendship out to any and all that would like to be friends. I'm all in. And it was interesting to me. It was liked by over 400 people, retweeted at least 150 times. But you know what I found surprising? Not one YouTube content creator that I saw liked it or retweeted it or supported it. And I was a little disappointed by that. All I did was say I'll be friends with anybody and everybody. Kind of surprising. So that's okay. We'll just fly on our own, shall we? Oh my goodness. Let's see here. George Rutledge. Let's see. So great to have a man of faith talking XRP. God bless you, Venture. God bless you, George. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. That's very nice of you. Appreciate it a lot. I also believe that every man should worship to the dictates of their own heart. I don't have to be your religion. You don't have to be my religion. It isn't about religion, but it is about, I love talking about the gospel. Very few people do. I love to talk about it. Very few people want to, but anybody that wants to do that, I have every intention when I don't have a full-time job of setting up a channel just to talk about that. For anybody, just to share my points of view. Everybody can interpret things differently, and I do the same thing. So anyway, but it's a subject that I love. I got a $3 super chat from Who Let the Bulls Out. Thank you very, very much. Keep it up. You are changing the XRP community. Well, I don't know about that, but all I know is that I can control what I say, and I can control what we do here, and whether we do or don't allow drama here. But that I don't know about the whole community. But thank you. It's very nice of you to say. Let's see. Let's see where Danny Loth with another show of support. Thank you for talking me off. Thank you for talking me off the ledge. I was so pissed the other day. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. And you saved me from selling half of my XRP. I moved 500,000 XRP into position. I'm glad. I mean, I could tell you were pretty fired up and upset that day. And man, I thought that was a mistake. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could sell half of what you have, and you'd still have 10 times more than the rest of us. But I'm glad you didn't. I'm really glad you didn't. Anyway, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it a lot. My Twitter is okay. I'll find you, George, and we'll get connected. My Twitter handle is just XRP Venture, straight through. Let's see what else. Mr. Perez. Okay. Mr. Perez and I are planning to go to California in a couple months. I don't know. Maybe it's the first of the year. I'm not sure. He's going to keep me in the loop. But he's become a pretty good friend on Twitter, though we haven't talked on the phone yet, which you're welcome to call me anytime. I'll get you my number. But anyway, thank you for the support. But he keeps running around telling everybody, Venture for President 2020. If I were president for about 20 minutes, I think I could solve a lot of things. But the problem is, so could Trump or anybody else with some common sense. But the bureaucracy and the I don't know if it's just legislation, of I don't know what you call it, what they're doing now. I just, these Democrats are not the Democrats of John F. Kennedy, I'll tell you that, because the idea of doing nothing, literally, we've done nothing, we do nothing, all we've done for 4 years is investigate a man, and then we won't pass any legislation, including, an infrastructure package. Just come on, let's go do infrastructure. Let's get these roads and bridges fixed. How is that a bad deal? But no, if Donald Trump gets any credit for, an infrastructure or any kind of a deal at all, they won't have any part of it. I would hate for that to be what I'm running on when it's time for me to be reelected. It's very pathetic. But don't want to be president. I've done some local government stuff, and it is a thankless job, I'll tell you. Yeah, shepherd's pie tonight, yummy. Danny, thank you. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. Have a great night, buddy, and thank you for another $2 super chat. We sure appreciate you, bud. Mike Long, I will check it out. I don't know anything about it. Went crazy the other day. Simon token, I'll check that out. I don't know anything about it. Thanks for sharing it, though. Let's see. Poultice needs rep Congress and. Well, I think what you're saying, Scott Elliott, is that yeah, you're right. They need the House, the Senate, and the White House. Let's see. Mike Long, I love XRP. I'm right there with you, brother. I'm not going to lie, though. I'd sure like to see it move up. I mean, for Pete's sakes, you get a little good news on anything, and it bumps by 30 cents. And we can't. We throw a big party in Singapore to brag about how good we are, and we go down in price. Figure that out. Lots of news on Vet right now. Oh, Handel. There you are. Where you been, buddy? I haven't even seen you in DMs. Okay. I get that done? Okay. Chanu Patel. By the way, Chanu, I want you to know I think you are an amazing individual. You have some brilliant research, and I can just tell you're just a great guy. Look forward to meeting you someday, my friend. Can bring the gold back standard for sure. Gold standard back for sure. I'm convinced they're doing it. I just don't know if XRP gets to be a part of it. Somebody asked the question earlier if I thought XRP would be backed by gold. Here's what I think. If all the G7, even the G20, all do a walled garden of their own digital currencies, and those are all backed by gold, and XRP sits in the middle of that as the bridge currency remittance settlement token, it wouldn't need to be backed by gold, because all the other currencies they're establishing the value, but those countries have to have XRP to do all their settlements in the Internet of Value and the speed that they want them to happen in. So because those gold gardens are all backed by gold, XRP wouldn't have to be. It would have a value based on utility and based on all of the demand that will ultimately come when. I think I'm really getting to a place where I don't even know if they're interested in SWIFT anymore, if they're just going to build their own SWIFT system. I don't know. You guys can share some thoughts on that. Brad, thank you for your support and your super chat. Keep sharing those history lessons. Hey, I will. I'll bring more of that to the table. It's frustrating that they put our kids in school. My wife commented the other day, or we were talking anyway, about why they don't teach kids about government in school is because how can they take advantage of them and abuse them if they taught them how government works. So it's a sorry state. So history lessons are important, and we are living in a facade in a debt system. If you don't know that, you need to know that. When the liquidity, which is what the problem is every time. That was the problem in 08 that they still haven't fixed. They've just been counterfeiting money between now and then. And the problem we're coming up to now is a liquidity problem. That's why the repo market and the drive-up window at the Fed has had to stay open burning the printing presses up, printing money and dumping 75 to $100 billion a day into the market is because liquidity is having a problem. You see, they want us in debt because it's us making our credit card payments, our car payments, and our mortgage payments and what have you that keeps this money in this Ponzi scheme and these juggling of these balls in the air. What happens is, imagine if all of us were out of debt, which is absolutely what we need to be. If we didn't have credit card debt and we didn't have mortgages, or even if we had mortgages, if our cars were paid for and our credit cards, you think about if all of us were out of debt, that would really cause a liquidity problem. And the reason they need the liquidity, obviously, is that because of the fraudulent game they're running. If everything in your life is paid for, you don't need to move near as much cash. Anyway, Brad, thank you very much for the $2 super chat. Really kind of you, and appreciate you sending it in. Let's see, I'm way down here. I have no idea what anybody's saying, so bear with me. Sorry. Still getting used to all this, trying to figure out a way to do this. We still lose by taxes. So true, Grandma. All right, Digital Asset Daily, thank you for coming in. I appreciate your compliment, and tuck those kids in. We've still got 3 kids at home. They should be grandkids, but we kind of got a second batch. We adopted 3 kids. I guess I was about 45 at the time, and we got them at birth, twin boys, and then a little girl a year later. And, now they're teenagers and they're killing me. So anyway, good night. Thank you for coming into the chat. Let's see. Don't Desmond, what people don't seem to understand is that the top 5% are in debt. Look at GE. GE's in trouble, and I am sure more of the Fortune 500 to come. Well, a lot of people think that's a great comment. A lot of people think that's what they're doing with some of this overnight repo money. They're and they're buying their own stocks, making their company look good again, and it's all. I'm telling you, if we did what these bankers do, we'd be in jail for kiting checks. It's ridiculous. Don't let prejudice get in the way of making money. I won't, T-Town. Let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah. Deutsche Bank is in big trouble. You guys saw that video, I'm sure, on Twitter today. They're sending some real tough messages that this guy's like, he's the president of the bank. In my 25 years of banking, I've never seen this kind of problem. You know why? Because you never fixed the problem in 2008, and now it's just compounded. And that's the thing. We're in a great place. I hate betting against the economy, and if it crashes, there's so many people that are going to get hurt. 2008 hurt our family so bad, and it was 10 years to crawl out of it, and I hate that. I hate to see another crash. I'd like to see them roll this out and have some kind of a, trade deals and even deals with the central bankers and the canceling of world debt and all kinds of stuff, and all use an XRP. And by dang, reevaluate that stuff. By all means, reevaluate it to 5,000. You know why the digital asset investors little spreadsheet there didn't surprise me that morning he put that out? Because he said, they would reevaluate XRP to $5,000 a coin. That's not that far-fetched, because I shared in one of my videos as well that if you look at the world debt clock and all the different things they're counting, one of the things they count over in the corner is the price of gold in 1929 when we were on the gold standard, and what you could buy for that, and then what the price of gold should be today if you bought the same amount of stuff. And Handel, if he's still in here, he's the one that I had a long conversation with one day and really brought this to my attention, but it's really true, that if gold were the equivalent of what gold was in 1929, it should be worth $75 to $76 an ounce right now. So if they said, hey, XRP is worth 5,000 because gold's now worth 5,000, and boom. Now you'll have people say, well, there's not enough gold in the world to do that. Well, from some of the other things I've seen and talked about or heard, is that they're talking about, they have some way, some matrix of figuring out how much gold a country still has that's unmined, still in the ground, and they would give them credit for that and that kind of thing. So Handel is still in the room, and Handel just gave me a $10 super chat. Thank you, Handel. I don't know if I can tell how we got acquainted, but well, I'm going to tell him anyway. You can't, well, I guess you could tell me no at the bottom, but by then it might be too late. But he has kind of an Airbnb up in the East Coast, and I grew up on the East Coast. I grew up in Massachusetts, was born in Vermont, and Handel sent me a direct message one day and said, hey, we'd like you to come up, and that just endeared me to him ever since, and been getting to know more about him all the time. So one of these days we're going to get back there, and we're going to get up, and we're going to take him up on that offer, and then I'm going to get him out here because I'm building a hotel and some Airbnb stuff here, and we're going to get him out here to Arizona, in northern Arizona. Handel, thank you very much. Adoption, you the man. I think, Handel, did you have something to do with adoption again? Did you adopt or adopt some children, or were you adopted or something? It's amazing how many people adoption touches their lives. Really cool. And my 3 kids are amazing. It's that's been a great experience. Anyway, Handel, thank you for your support. Let's see. I entered the labor force in 2009. I remember the crisis and will never forget. Seriously, XRP hodler for life. I couldn't agree more. That was pretty tough times for my family. Digital asset investor is invested in more ADA or Cardano and BTC more than XRP. I don't know if that's true. You think he's got more Cardano and Bitcoin than he has XRP? I'm not sure. Handel, I am adopted. See, I thought I remembered something about that. Yeah, you're awesome. Venture, I adopted 2 boys. King Blue, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Yeah, I've got twin 13-year-olds right now, and then a little daughter, a little more than a year younger than them. So it's awesome. I adopted 2 boys, both all grown and out of the house. Well, there you go. That's a good day. Well, we had a batch. We have 4 older kids that are all grown and out of the house, and then we got these 3. So anyway, it's a lot of kids, guys, and I'm tired, I'm telling you. Okay. Grandma, we have 188 to 200 in the house. That's cool. To all 188 of you, thank you. Appreciate it. Digital asset investor said he had some ADA. Yeah, that's what I remember. That he had that he did hold some Cardano. I like Cardano. I'd get some Cardano, and that he had some Bitcoin, and that's what I did. I talked about in my exit strategy video. That's one of the things I want to do. I'm just hoping that the XRP would blow up, and that part of my exit strategy, I could take my original investment out and a good sized chunk out to go back in and pick up the Cardanos and the HOTS and and the VET, except I think the VET's going to come sooner than it did. So let's see. Perez, LOL, you'll catch a break venture. I assume you're talking about from the kids. Yeah, we're close now. Got another got another 4 or 5 years, and yeah, I won't be so stressed out, and all the piano lessons, gymnastics lessons, basketball games, football games, cheerleading, choir, band. Oh my gosh, it's just never ending. Church projects. You sound like me, Venture. I started over with 2 younger. See? Yeah, Spanish Fly. See? Oh, Spanish Fly. There you are. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hey, Hodel Monster. Glad you're here. Alt season's upon us. Is it? I mean, I'm actually asking the question. You know, here's the deal. Nobody knows any of this. I always say, you know, I see all these guys with their TA, technical analysis, and the you know, the graphs and the charts, and I always think that, how would anybody know? I mean, this is the wild, wild west. How would anybody? Nobody knows any of this. Nobody can tell you anything. Every price prediction of every single asset, total 100% guess. Not even educated guess, just guess. So your guess is as good as mine. You just have to pick the projects you like. And tonight I'm really obviously XRP, but I'm really liking VET and what they're doing and the use case and how that could take off and get adopted and run. Wouldn't that be just a kick in the head if VET takes off, runs up to 48 cents or something while we're still waiting for XRP to get off 27 cents? Oh, that'd be terrible. Thank you, Huddle Monster. Oh, baby bear. That's kind of my favorite saying now. Perez, oh, baby bear. Yeah. You know, what the heck, since we're all over the map, you know that some of you may be aware of that video I did about the Thrifty commercial. I had somebody else talk about the Gematria. Crypto Mike does a great job with all the Gematria and what have you. And then I saw, oh, bless his heart. You know, you can say anything if you say bless his heart first. Bless his heart. I always forget his name. Tony. Tony, somebody will tell me. Tony, whatever. Intelligent guy, obviously. Can be a little snippy, bitter. But anyway, he put a thing out. Well, you know, your Gematria search results are based on your search history and algorithm, like it's twisted or what have you. Forget the Gematria. If you looked at that Thrifty commercial, it just straight out said it. You know, the you know, right off the bat, the guy's wearing a blue jacket with the little blue ripple bears. You know, the very first car is a 1970s Suzuki. And Suzuki is the only one that has Swift model. And you know, what's the comment that they make? Too shabby. You know, saying that Swift is too shabby. In other words, it's not going to work. You know, the doors falling off the car and what have you. That's not Gematria. They're saying it. They're saying too shabby, showing a 1970 Suzuki because Swift was built 40 years ago, and it's still an antiquated system. And then I've worked in car dealerships and owned car dealerships, in fact, in the past. And you guys would be surprised, but they still run on a DOS system. At least some of them. They still run on DOS. It's crazy. Just like Swift probably does. Anyway, and then in the next scene, you know, it's bear the cost, BTC, Bitcoin, right? You know, with the Lamborghini, you know, too expensive. This isn't Gematria. This is just the statements they're making. And then, of course, the next scene is the Jeep, and he's like, just right. And it's a utility vehicle, just like Brad says. It's all about the utility. Anyway, so all those things in that commercial have nothing to do with Gematria that Tony was, you know, trying to tell everybody was, you know, ridiculous. Quite honestly, Tony is mistaken. The elite do talk that way and do send messages through that type of communications. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as widespread as it is and understood by the elite the way that it is. So anyway, Mike does a good job, and like I said, that commercial didn't. You could take all the gematria out of it and just look at what they're saying. It's still pretty dang amazing. On Twitter, there's tons of articles. Not sure what that is handled because I haven't been what Walmart use. Oh, you must be talking about VET again. Again, that's where we started this thing. I love Grandma. Thank you. She put big old blue hearts and said subscribe and like. Thanks much. Now, come on, you guys. How do you tell Grandma no? You got to subscribe. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't. That's where I sit out on the porch and ramble, much like this. But maybe you like this. I don't know. Anybody have anything else? I don't even know how long I've been on this thing. I guess I could look. There's 119 folks here now, so I must be losing them. Getting late. See, here's the thing. I'm in Arizona, so I mean here it's 15 after 8 o'clock. I started this thing at probably 15 after 7. But you know, the East Coast, it's 10, so I see where people are dropping off and going to bed. So Trump and President of China meeting in Chile got postponed due to civil unrest, rescheduled for 12:15. Maybe that is what we were waiting for. You know, that's a great comment. Ripple Stillskin, hey buddy. That's a great comment. They very well may be. I think the other thing that they're waiting on is Brexit. I don't know what's going on. I haven't watched a lot of news lately, but I don't know what's going on with Brexit. But it's always been in the back of my head that that's one of the things that we're waiting on, because obviously England and the EU they're big players in this, and them separating kind of a big deal, and kind of has to do. We need a trade deal with England. So I've always thought they're waiting on Brexit as well. Jill, good night. Thank you for coming in and hanging out for a little bit. VET for short term, return XRP long term. That's true. You could go into some VET, ride it up, and then go back to XRP if you want to take that chance. The problem is, every single time I make a trade, it's always, I sell, it goes up. I buy, it goes down. And I've just learned to just sit still. Sit still and let it do its stuff. So if I'm going to get some VET, I just need to get the VET and keep it until I'm ready to check out of it completely. Well, okay, Brexit, January 3rd. Oh, is that Daryl Foster? Is that something you've heard that we know for sure now? Is that just a new date that's been set? Because, it was October 30th. You know what's interesting about that? What's interesting to me about that, the January 31st thing, I've told you guys before that there's a whole nother community out there about the whole global currency reset stuff. And there's a lot of rumblings in that community that aren't necessarily crypto. It's just about a global currency reset. They've got their Zim currency, and they've got their dinars, and they're wanting a global currency reset. They want to see the dinar that used to be worth way more than the US dollar, used to be, like $4 compared to $1 US. And they want to see the dinar reset to $4 again, because, they bought, they got $1 million worth of dinar for, $800 or something. And they've been sitting on, they're waiting for this reset, and they want to see this reset of their $1 million in dinar go to $4 so that they have $4 million. And so they're all rooting for this global currency reset. Anyway, there's a lot of rumblings in that group that it's about February. And all their groups all claim to have inside information and all that, and so you have to take it with a grain of salt. But I do watch them and keep track of it just to kind of be in the loop, and I kind of compare what we're learning on our end with what they're saying on their end and trying to find the truth somewhere in the middle. But they talk about February. So this Brexit, January 31st, if they actually get that done, they could have all the trade agreements drawn up, ready to go, knowing that Brexit would happen. Boom, they could sign it 1st of February, and then they could roll this thing out with whatever they're doing in February. So far, I think that's what we're all hearing. Give me a thumbs up in the chat room if you've heard it or agreed that so far the rumblings seem to be December or February. So maybe just put in, but that's what I've heard, that those are the 2 months we're now looking for. You know, we used to be looking for October, we used to be looking for September. So, but now the idea is there going to be a Brexit? Well, the people wanted it. I think the people should get it, truthfully, regardless of the ramifications. Thanks, BC. You gave me the thumbs up. And no, Grandma says February. Handel says February. Michelle, XRP. Now, my Ripple boat friend. You made a comment on one of my videos, and I will respond back to it. I think you were wondering about the 410 comment. I didn't mean go into the 410 minute mark. Sorry about that confusion. The 410 was Bearable Guy had put out that little owl dancing image, with a little note over there that said, he was glad to see there was still an opportunity for people to make, have a real chance to change their lives. Keep your eye on the prize, and the I wasn't EYE. It was just a little lowercase I. And I saw people put in chats, oh, it's supposed to be a capital I. No, it's supposed to be EYE. Anyway, so that was one thing. And then on the little trophy cup, it said first prize. So I was talking about G Mantra a little earlier, and I'd look at it just for the fun of it, just to see what the heck. So I took that and I put first prize into G Mantra, and 410 was one of the results. The numerical equivalent. And then I put I, EYE. Ironically enough, it came up to the same 410. Well, 410, the number 410, one of the possible search results for the word I and for the words first prize was financial crisis. So 410 equals financial crisis. So when you look at his little graphic, I took that and I've told everybody before that, I hope he's a real insider and likes people as much as we do, and wants to help keep us encouraged and really wants to see us change our lives. So I took that image as like there were big owls and there were little owls. What are owls? Owls are wise. So I took that as wise investors, large and small, need to keep their eye on the financial crisis that's coming. So that's what the 410 was, Michelle. I hope that helps a little bit. Anyway, sorry about that confusion. And everybody else got my explanation of that little graphic and what I thought that meant for us. It's pretty ironic, and it does kind of make sense. So, okay, let's see. Anything under $3 for $1 is a good buy. Eric, I assume you're talking about XRP, and I couldn't agree more. You guys remember when it ran to 47 cents? I was so bummed because it was only like $2 for $1. And I thought, naively, we're never going to go back. I thought there was so much news and there was so much stuff. I thought, we're never going back. Heck, we got back to 23 cents for Pete's sakes. I did buy that dip. Made it for some of the others. Okay, let's see. 410. Oh, my crypto delivery. He said 410 plus 10 equals 420. Oh, man. BC filled in bags. Absolutely. right, let's see. Get the Notorious. Hey, buddy. How's it going, man? Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. See if I missed a question up here. Otherwise, I'll probably wrap this thing up. I've chewed your ear long enough. It's kind of fun. Still getting used to the multitasking. Focus on the fundamentals, not riddles from Bearable Guy. Well, Shu, here's what I would say to that. Why? Why can't I look at all of it? Why can't I consider it using the God-given intellect that hope I've been blessed with and decipher for myself if I think that has any bearing? I said in my video, and I thought it was a funny statement that, you guys nobody knows what Joel Katz is doing on a lazy Sunday afternoon. If he wants to, that guy's a genius. I mean, he really is. He's a genius. And if he wants to use, come on, look at the pictures, Coke, Apple, all the different pictures he posts. Now, sure, he could just be like entertaining himself and amusing himself, takes a picture of a cat on a post and, somebody will read something into that. But at the same time, what's wrong with my interpretation of a message of wise and small investors both need to watch out for the financial crisis? Because I've been thinking there was a financial crisis coming long before I ever saw that post. And I've told people, if you go back and look at my videos from 2 months ago, I've told people you need to, maybe save up, buy a few extra groceries in the pantry, save up, pay your rent a couple months in advance, whatever, because I think something's coming. I lived through '08. I lost everything in '08, and I had stuff in '08. And I'm not breaking my arm, patting myself on the back, but I had a lot of stuff, and I lost all of it because I was in real estate and developing real estate, and that's where the crash was. It was over real estate. And I was living in St. George, Utah at the time, and it was one of the hardest cities hit, like Phoenix and Vegas. So I got creamed, I got wiped out. So, and I know they haven't fixed the problems since '08. So, good, Michelle. Michelle says, I'm saving up some food. Good. Absolutely. Those cases of water we hate to lug in the house? Get some extra water. Get some extra food. Why not? You're going to spend it on it anyway. If nothing happens, bonus. Just deplete it. But all this food that we eat, I'm pointing to my pantry like you guys can see it. All this food that it's designed to last 7 years anyway. So, get some extra food. It doesn't hurt. If the world melts down in February, you've seen the central bankers talking about this is the worst they've seen it. And these are the guys that are making the rules. There's some trouble out there. Firewood too, yes. If you're in a place where you have heated, winter comes and you use. I live in the mountains in the pine trees, and we go around and we collect wood for the widows, and there's lots of families here still on wood stoves. Point is you don't know. Why would it be crazy to prepare your family in case something happened? It's not crazy. It's good. Okay, and so there's my thinking on everything. I'm going to read and look at everything and take what's good and discard whatever doesn't. Darcy, I didn't even know you were here. Darcy, good night, good morning, good evening, everybody. Thanks. Later, guys. See you, Darcy. Thanks for coming in, man. Okay. Well, I probably should wrap this up too. You guys are awesome. Thank you for, letting me bend your ear. I hope that's really the only hope I have is that because, I'm older than Digital Asset Investor. I'm older than all of them. I'm just trying to share some things that I worry about for my family and what I see happening and what I've experienced in life. I went through the '08 crash. I've been winning and losing my own money forever, my whole life, literally. So I've been an entrepreneur to the core, and ever since I've been 21, I've been out on my own. So I've experienced a bunch, and I just hope that maybe some of that will help somebody somewhere. Everybody in this room and anybody that may ever see this video, what have you, we're all dealing with different stuff. Different things that people say, different personalities affect people differently. There's some things that, one guy could say that may not have an impact. Somebody else could say the same thing, but for some reason it resonates. So I just hope that something resonates with somebody, and it's worth it. So, okay, you guys, you're awesome. Thank you very much. I'm going to shut this down now and appreciate it. The more I do this, the funner it is, and I'm learning more about how to read that and look here and multitask a little bit. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you out in the Twitter sphere, and I'll talk to you later. Good night.